Hi, Chloe, and anybody else who is watching this video recording. My name's Alistair Di Rosario. I work for Swim Abroad, and we're joined by Beta Zafaranalu, who is your academic tour lead. And together we're going to share some information about an exciting program that we have in store in winter called the Shaping Futures Climate Change in Malaysia Study Tour. The dates of the in-country program is the 23rd of June to the 6th of July. You may have seen online it had the 22nd. That's okay. You'll likely leave on the 22nd in order to get there on the 23rd of June anyway. So just before we get started, some things to know. So there are two information sessions. This is the online session. There will be a follow-up session, which is very similar. That's going to be on campus. You don't need to attend them both. This program is open to all students who have completed at least 100 credit points. If you haven't completed 100 credit points, still apply. We may entertain an application, but ideally we want students at a certain caliber before they apply for this program. It's open to local and international students, but only Australian citizens will qualify for the new Colombo Plan Short-Term Mobility Grant Scholarship, which I'll talk about shortly. So the purpose of today's session is to talk details. So we'll cover the dates, which I mentioned earlier, the cost of the program, the likely activities you're going to engage in. I'll talk a little bit about the financials, so the scholarship and some other financial incentives. Beta will cover the academic content and what you're likely to get involved with, the project. And I will also cover the process of how to apply. And the reason we do this is to be transparent. So we will talk a little bit about COVID. I feel like that's a thing of the past, but in terms of the media attention anyway, but it's still in the environment. We'll talk about your financial commitment and any obligations, so some intensity and things like that. I'll cover a little bit of risk management, and we largely do that to manage your expectations. And hopefully throughout the course of the delivery, the benefits of your commitment or the return on your investment will become clear as we go. So, Bita, I think I might hand over to you if that's okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. And
Thank you.
good morning, everyone. For those who are watching this video, I hope you're all doing well. So we are very excited about this. And if I want to talk about the overview of the program, I would like to start with, the story of us educators who are passionate about student experience and students learning. So there is a gap between what you are going to do in your own school, your discipline, how you're going to apply that discipline knowledge in your capstone project, in the internship. But I guess there is a gap here, and between us coming from different disciplines. So I'm coming from microbial biotechnology, but with me, we have some colleagues from School of Business, Department of Education, Media Communication. We have from educators from computing science and across the STEM, and of course the design. So what we are offering here, if you're interested in the climate change and you would like to act on climate change in a global context, going to the destinations such as Malaysia and having that observatory from the events and from the, collecting the data, talking with the multidisciplinary type of the peers, also talking with those leaders back in Malaysia who are having an experience working on climate change. This is the opportunity for you. So you have every one of us on board. You're talking about the academics, the supervisors from different disciplines. We are talking about peers from different disciplines, and we are talking about the multidisciplinary kind of approach and project where you are going to see and visit at different places. For example, in the site visits and in the program that I will explain shortly, you might see schools, you might see some policymakers, leaders, like a local government, those who are looking at the issues around climate change in Malaysia. So you're going to visit some businesses or startup or innovative, program, which is like a STEM-related field in Malaysia. That's why this is open to the multidisciplinary project. That is the highlight key point of this study tour, because I know and I'm aware there are multiple study tours, but this is going to be differentiated because we are offering this to you and your peers from different discipline. And how fantastic this is experience for you to unpack something like climate change, bringing all your discipline knowledge to address the issue. So again, we are offering this program to make sure that you understand the local, communities and engage with them in a field. So you're going to participate in the type of the activities this align with our vision and it's aligned with New Colombo vision, and make sure that you're coming with a good source of data and a good source of observation and impact to recommend to and unpack the climate change. And this is again in a global context. So I believe that is going to be a great opportunity. Of course, this is not going to be just a study. So in any study tour, we this is kind of a 6 weeks during the winter time, but it's going to be 2 weeks in the Malaysia. And I just want to make sure that everyone is going to be involved in this study tour. We are going to meet each other before the departure time, and we are going to make a community of practice. So you and your academic leader is going to make that. And of course, once we are going to Malaysia, you're not just going to visit the study, the site visits and meeting your peers in maybe the lobby of hotel to reflect on what you've done during the day, but you're also going to have a cultural activities, and we are negotiating with the parties to make a best opportunity for you to also have fun with your peers and visit some great places in Malaysia. I love in watching observing some part of the nature and indigenous people in Malaysia, or some fun activities like cooking, and yeah, of course, observing some of kind of a techno part of that city. So yeah, you're going to have fun. So again, this is about a course. It's an elective unit, which we are going to explain shortly. But these 2 weeks where you are going to Malaysia, so that is going to provide you a list of the site visits. Again, if you're coming from multidiscipline, you're thinking, oh, I would like to visit the primary school students because I'm from education, or I would like to know what are the businesses, startups are doing their job, or I want to know what is the policymakers are doing, what is their vision, what is the progress of their action. So again, we are thinking of you coming from different discipline, whether it's a STEM or behind STEM. So we are going to cover this site visit to be interesting to you and your major. And we would like to give you an activities that is going to be led by you, because we love to provide the opportunity for our students to be empowered. Of course, with this, we are in contact with different organizations as I named. So we are talking about those specific organizations that they are targeting sustainable development goals and something aligned with the climate change action. You are going to lead on that with your team, and you are going to be provided with a proposed project that is going to be unpacked by you and your team member. So I think, again, that's very exciting to see it. Different organizations, they are raised their hand to support us, including the university and local students. So that would be another opportunity for this study tour. Again, once you are going to choose to be in a study tour, you will see how Canvas Shell is going to provide you with the online resources, or maybe training, or maybe panel discussion with the stakeholders. We are not going to, we think about every aspect of this study tour that might be interesting and informative to you as much as possible, to bring you to this learning objective at the end of your experience. So we hope you develop your cultural competency. You are going to act as a global citizen, targeting climate change problem. You're going to communicate the outcome and recommend your solution for the problem. And through this journey, you're going to develop your professional skills. And that is something that our employees are looking for, future ready skills. So that is a great evidence for you to talk about it once you're going to be invited to the interview in the future, how you lead your project in the global context for something hot, demanding, like a climate change. So again, we think about you. We are not going to overwhelm you. And I know from the kind of with the other educators, we give you a series of activities that is going to be handed at the end, and it's kind of a scaffolded for you to come up with kind of a documentary. It can be in a kind of a, you're going to create a portfolio coming with the audio, video, reflective pieces of how this journey helps you to develop your, apply your discipline knowledge to unpack the project that you are involved in. So it's not going to overwhelm you, and we make sure that we might have a kind of a live showcase at the end of presentation that you're going to offer that to your and the industry partner in Malaysia and maybe back in Australia. So, and we are supporting on any required training on that. So you are not going to be alone.
Peter, can I ask a question just for the
Yes.
benefit of anyone that watches this? In terms of the 6 weeks, there's not an expectation that students need to engage full time for the 2 weeks prior to the trip occurring in Malaysia, correct? There will be a number of touch points before you get in country, and the 2 weeks after, again, there's no expectation that students need
No,
to.
there is no
Yeah.
expectation, because we are going to make sure that we are all connected
Mhm.
through the platform, that it's the choice of the for the students. So they are going to come up with the agreement of like a group agreement on how they are going to communicate. All
Okay.
it matters is just to be aware of the resources available to help them start searching for that project that they are involved, to start knowing about how they could involve and how they could contribute, applying their discipline knowledge to unpack that project. So it's kind of a very, they can spend their own time to go through the resources. We might invite them to the panel discussion where they can meet the local stakeholders, which is, again, it's just for the purpose of making more clarify, like for them, what is going to be expected once they go to Malaysia.
Sure.
But yet, that's good point, Al. So yeah, so that is about, I guess, again, I don't want to repeat myself. So through this journey, we are hoping, because I'm part of the work integrated learning team at Swinburne. So I am a fan of students being provided with the opportunity that they can practice and they can learn through their practice. So with this, we are hoping you also improve your employability skills, which is going to be adaptability, flexibility, how you're going to solve the problem through your critical thinking and reflection, how you're going to communicate with this diverse type of academic team, industry team, local team, and international team in the global context, and how you're going to lead if, let's say, you're going to inform people about what are the required action that needs to be considered in Malaysia. And that is going to help you to also extend on your cultural awareness. So I think that is going to be an expectation at the end of this study tour.
Thank you, Beta. Over
Yes.
to me Ta.
Thank you.
So I'm sure everyone that's been watching up to now has a burning question as to how much this program is going to cost. And before you think that's a lot, there will be a slide that will sweeten the cost and out of pocket. But seeing as we're on this slide to begin with, so the cost is approximately 3,400 plus airfares. We say approximate because it might be more, it's unlikely to be less, but I'm sorry, unlikely to be more, but it might be less, especially if more students apply, because then we have more people going and we might be able to bring the cost down a little bit. But for that cost, 3,400 plus airfares, you're going to get accommodation in a shared arrangement, and we book you into hotels. So you won't be slumming it. You're not staying in any backpackers or anything cheap. It's safe and secure in Kuala Lumpur. Your in-country transport is included. So from the moment that you check into the hotel to your departure, everything in between, somebody's just in the lobby, I'll admit them. So everything in between is covered. You'll get breakfast daily. There is some lunches and dinners included. We generally have a welcome and farewell dinner as well. And some of the sightseeing and excursions that we mentioned earlier will be included in the cost. Now, what's not included is the unit costs. As Bitter mentioned, there's a academic unit worth 12.5 credit points. So that would go on your HEX help if you defer your fees, if you're an Australian student or a local, sorry. But if you're an international student, then you will have to consider that cost for that unit that you're taking, which you'll end up doing at some point in your degree anyway. Flights are not included. We let you book those yourself. Personal expenses, so things if you go out at night and what you get up to is not included. And if you need to get a visa, you'll need to pay for that as well. So the application deadline is the 31st of March, but we know a number of people have been applying already, and that's okay. We will endeavour to make offers by the latest mid-April. We'll try and make those a bit earlier. And we'll have a number of touch points prior to you departing. So there will be a main one which Swinburne Abroad conducts, and we get the health services involved, and we talk to you about things like ambassadorship and behaviour and risk management and health and wellbeing. And as Bitter mentioned, there will be some touch points before and after the program as well. Now, just in terms of the in-country component, there may be an opportunity for you to travel prior, as long as you keep up with your academic commitments, and after the program as well, as long as you, as I said, you don't let your group down with your work that you need to submit. So as I mentioned earlier, we do have funding for this program. So the cost is $3,400, but you get $3,000 from the Australian government, which means your out-of-pocket cost really for such a fantastic program is only $400 plus airfare, which is a fantastic deal. And there's no additional application process for this. When you apply for this program, and I'll talk about the application process in a moment, we will assess you for your eligibility for the new Colombo Plan, and we will advise you on your offer letter if you've been granted one of these grants or not. But here is the eligibility, just in case you were wondering. So you must be an Australian citizen. You cannot currently hold residency rights in Malaysia, and you cannot have received more than one New Colombo Plan short-term grant in the past. You're allowed to during your studies at Swinburne. And the bulk of you need to be between 18 to 30 years old. However, if you fall outside that age bracket, I still strongly encourage you to apply because we are allowed to take a certain percentage of students that fall outside of that range as well. So in addition to the New Colombo Plan grant, we have an additional financial funding incentive called the Overseas Help Loan. And that's a loan which gets added to your HEX debt. And you can borrow up to $9,504 for this program, or half of that approximately. You may not need the full $9,504. However, some students take out the full amount and they use it to fund additional travel or pay for things in country, etc. So it is a loan. It does get paid directly into your bank account and you use it at your discretion, and we hope you use it wisely. And it's completely independent, as is the New Colombo Plan Scholarship, so mobility grant, to any other scholarships or funding that you might have had at Swinburne. So if you're on a merit scholarship or an equity scholarship, you may be able to access some of those as well to assist with the cost of this program. So the process to apply, you just need to either go through the Swim and Abroad website and click on this program, and there's an application link, or when we send around these slides, there's just a hyperlink under here. You can click on that and fill in your application. It's rather painless, except we do expect students to fill in a motivation statement, and we don't expect a full essay. I'd say probably 150 to 250 words max as to why you would like to go on this program. And Bitter has already explained some of the objectives and outcomes of this project. So that's what we would like to see in the motivation statement. And full disclosure, this is definitely not a Kentucky tour, as you're well aware. There is academic rigor attached, but we are not the fun police as well. So you can say things like, you know, exploring a new culture and things like that, some of the things that we covered, but also I think you'd probably want to talk more about the impact you're hoping to make while on the program. There is a question there around what credit will you be applying for towards this degree? Please choose elective. If you get it wrong, don't worry, it will let you submit anyway, and I can fix it. And it's, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Al, I just want to ask this question for you. So if a student's already completed their elective, are they able to still use of this study tour as an elective?
Yes, so there is an allowance within most degrees at Swinburne to overload. For example, if you don't have any electives left, or if you've exhausted all your component units or electives, I think they use that word interchangeably, there is still a way around that. So I still encourage you to apply. For example, if your degree is 300 credit points, you might finish with 312.5 if you have to overload in order to make room for this. But I think it's a wonderful offering, and highly encourage you to do so if you need to. So it's extremely imperative upon your application that you receive the confirmation email from the system. And if you don't, please check your junk and spam. Maybe give it 20 minutes. But if not, please send me an email. My email's there, studytours@swin.edu.au. It could be, and this has happened on occasions, that people have put in their student email incorrectly, and therefore the email didn't fire as it should. Or it could be that it's in your junk and spam. Just change your settings to make sure that you receive emails thereafter. Otherwise, you're not going to know about any other further updates from our system. So I mentioned the offer letter earlier. So if you're successful, we will send you an offer letter, which is in the form of an email to your student email account. It contains all the terms and conditions and all the funding schemes that you will be eligible for, including OS Help, which I'll assess your eligibility for. So you'll know where you stand financially when you receive an offer. So please read everything and then hit the accept button if you are happy with the offer. And then our system will send you a follow-up email asking you to pay $200 in order to lock in your place in the program. And what I do caution is, do not commit lightly at that point, because once you commit and pay your $200, we then go ahead and start making bookings as soon as possible to try and lock things in. So if you do change your mind thereafter, we may not refund that $200 unless there are extenuating circumstances. Travel documents, just a bit of advice. If you're planning on going on this program and you receive an offer and we give you the green light and it's time to book your flights, please ensure that your passport has 6 months validity from the date of departure in June. Don't leave it to the last minute to renew it. And the reason I say that is sometimes the agents that we work with in country want passport copies in order to make bookings in hotels. So you could be potentially holding up the group by not renewing it and leaving it to the last minute. So I need to address COVID. In terms of travel insurance, you will be covered for anything medical, whether that be COVID related or anything else that might happen to you in country that's medically related. However, and this is a very unlikely however, should the country go into lockdown, and I feel like that's a thing of the past, but if it did, our insurance will not cover any loss of deposits for things that we've paid, because COVID is considered a known event. It's a loophole in the insurance policy of many policies out there. So I guess the good news is the government has already chipped in $3,000. So really your out-of-pocket expense is going to be $400 plus your airfare. You're likely to get a air credit for your airfare. So you'll really potentially only be out of pocket $400, which is a small price to pay if it does, in the likely event, get cancelled. But we will continue to scan the environment and make sure that things are looking good leading up to the program. And if we need to cancel, we will. But as I said, it's very unlikely. So these just are terms and conditions. If we do end up cancelling, the closer we get to departure, if it gets cancelled, the less money we get back. But it's just there for you in case you want to look at it. And there is a requirement with Swinburne because of global events and also just the airline travel conditions at the moment, that everybody books through our preferred travel provider, Reho Travel. So we'll provide more details on that once the program is confirmed on how to do so, but that is a requirement of our program. I'm not going to talk about the benefits of an overseas experience. The only thing I will add is that I have been on a study tour, and I did it a couple of years back now when I was doing my postgraduate. And I will talk to the friendships that you gain while on these programs. I still keep in contact with some of those people today that I went on a program with. So as a student. So yeah, look, it's definitely an intense activity, but one that I think will be transformative and memorable. That's it. Here are our contact details in case you want to contact me about any of the administrative side, and also BITA's contact details are there if you have any specific questions or any follow-up questions if you don't think of them now. Does anyone have any questions for the benefit of those that may watch, or if you have your own questions that you need to be answered, please unmute and ask away.
I just want to highlight again that this is an opportunity for students. I think during the COVID and behind COVID, I think there is a mindset of barrier of how we are going to travel. Please avoid thinking of that, because with the best of our ability in communication and knowledge, this is an opportunity for you to travel safely and be able to learn. I guess you're not going to stop traveling because of the COVID or any other circumstances, but if and of course there is one barrier, like a financial barrier for students. I think with what we explain here, so you should be confident that in fact this trip is actually designed for those who are not able maybe to travel without this funding and without this support. So we do care about all of the students, and we want to provide an opportunity for all of the students coming from different financial backgrounds. So I think this is the opportunity for you to travel and at the same time learn and have fun, and learn from the other discipline to unpack and act on climate change. So I really highly recommend you to come, and we can make that building that community of practice,
And
which
just
might take.
if I can add to that, so I mean, climate change and sustainability, obviously air travel is sometimes counterintuitive towards the sustainability aspect, but I just want to add, these sorts of programs are the best type of travel you can do. If you're going to travel, you're not necessarily doing it for leisure, you're doing it to make an impact. And we do offset our carbon footprint by, that's one of the reasons why we partnered with Reho Travel, and also Swinburne also has its sustainability practices for anyone that does engage in air travel as well. So just letting you know. So does anyone have any questions, or have we done our job really well, or is everyone really shy? I'm not sure what it is, but
Yeah, I just want to ask Clark if you already applied, because we hear from Chloe that she already applied.
It's Matthew. Sorry, I was late.
Matthew.
No questions. That's all right, Matthew.
Okay.
That's fine.
Thank you.
I think Chloe asked the question earlier. Matt's going to apply. That's good. No pressure, Matthew. We're glad you are. Okay, well,
All right.
if no one has any questions, what are the vaccination requirements for the study tour? Those will be discussed in the pre-departure sessions that we run 6 weeks prior to departure. So a lot of the unknowns at this point in time, because it's still early, will become known as we prepare you for your departure.
And just add a last point, because I remember that was a concern from students. So again, we are highlighting that for the 6 weeks of the winter time, you're flexible with the first 2 and the first, the last 2 weeks of the, the study. Of course, with the knowledge and respect to your peers, and this is a unit that you're going to complete. So you can manage, and we want you to manage and lead your time and how you're going to communicate with your colleague. But yeah, that 2 weeks of the trip to Malaysia, it's fixed, and we are all going to be there together. That's it.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Bita, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for those that attended, and for those of you who are watching this recording at a later stage. I wish you the best with your application, and we hope to see you on the program in the near future. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.